I have so many fond memories of Grandmommy. One of my first ones include her comforting me over the loss of my sister Aubrey when I was 5 years old. She gave me this beautiful pink blanket and said that I could use it whenever I needed to remember her. Growing up, we also loved tea parties together, where we would wear frilly dresses and hats and drink out of porcelain china. I also loved our time at cousins camp, where we would gather with all of our cousins and make bracelets and necklaces with Cheerios and paint with our watercolors. I am also so grateful for all the traveling we were able to do, from going to the lakes to visiting them in each state, and we even were able to travel to Brazil together. I'm also so grateful that she was able to make it to our wedding. She was so excited to see a grandchild get married, and I'm very thankful that she was able to be there. A valuable lesson that I've learned from Grandmommy is to always be kind to other people. This past year, I helped her move into her house in Georgia, and I accidentally broke one of her porcelain piano ornaments. Instead of her getting upset, she came over to me and said that it was okay. And her kindness spoke volumes to me because I realized and knew how special this ornament was to her, and she chose to act out of kindness instead of in a harsh manner. Grandmommy was very kind to each person she encountered with, from giving them special gifts to writing notes of encouragement. I hope to be a woman like her. I love you so much, Grandmommy.
Hey, Grandmommy. I wanted to make this video to tell you how much I love you and to tell you some really important things about what you mean to me. Some of my earliest memories with you were in school. It was our recess bell, and it was the ice cream sandwiches and the going through curriculum together. And there's such fond memories of me, and it built up so much of what my identity is today, ironically, is to go forth and teach others the way that you taught me at such a young age. And my teaching style is so similar to the same way that you taught me when I was your student so many years ago, and it was through love and through patience and kindness and through explanation. You never allowed me to wander or become unsettled with a question, but you encouraged me to find answers and to ask questions and to be excited about learning. And you gave that to me at such an early age, and it's something that is so fundamental in my foundation of who I am today, and my desire to continue to learn as an adult, and my desire to teach others the things that I've learned, all formulated and began with you. And that's so incredibly important. And it's something that I've seen you not only do for me as your grandchild, but for your sons, for your husband, for your community, for everybody that you've come into contact with. Grandmommy, you've always been a person that's wanted to teach them what you know. You've always been a person that's wanted to share the knowledge that you have with other people. And it's some of my earliest memories with you, and it's some of my fondest memories with you, was learning from you, and ironically learning how to be a good teacher. You taught me that. You taught me what it meant to listen and be patient and be kind, and to allow somebody to ask questions and not become frustrated by that. And those were all things that you gave to me at a really early age, and I'm so incredibly thankful for. Not only that, but you taught and you led your family the way that I hope to one day teach and lead mine. You taught your boys what it meant to be followers of God and followers of the way that He's called us to live our lives, but not only to follow, but to encourage others to do the same. That it isn't something that's just our individual journey, but it's something to be shared with everybody. And that's because of you. You instilled that in your family, and you gave that gift to your family. And it's the same gift that my dad has given to me through you and because of you. And it's the same gift that I hope to give to my children and my grandchildren one day when it becomes my turn. And I'm not naive enough to think that that didn't start and originate with you. That my dad is the way that he is because of the way that you and Granddaddy have taught him and nurtured him and loved him and shown him what it means to be not only a good teacher, but a good student as well. And for that, I'm forever and eternally grateful. I love you so much. You mean the world to me. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about memories that I've had with you or conversations that I've had with you or Granddaddy, and how pivotal that you've both been in the person that I've become today. I just really want you to know, as purely and as vulnerably as I can say, I love you.
It's so hard to have one favorite memory of Grandmommy because there's just so many. But one that I will always think of Grandmommy from, and it's not just one, it's a series of many, but one thing that I will always remember Grandmommy for is Cousins Club. We did Cousins Club when we were younger. We don't do it anymore. We didn't do it as we grew older. But it was so much fun. I remember on every family vacation that we went to, she separated the cousins and we all got together and she had activities planned for us. She had different paint by numbers. She had, one time we made these like little visors. And I mean, we have pictures, and I will have those memories forever, just stored away in my mind, and specifically remember Grandmommy for them. And what you see in all of those things and all of the memories that each one of us will have is a level of detail. And I think that's one of her best qualities. It didn't matter what it was, she always put a lot of thought into it. So that was friendships, that was meeting new people. She would think about how they felt in a situation, and she had a great deal of compassion. And she would write cards. Many of you have received cards from Grandmommy. And we received cards from Grandmommy while I was in college every month. And she would put these little verses in them, or she'd put pieces of a newspaper that she thought I might like. But she just had so much detail in everything that she did, whether that was work in the kitchen, doing laundry. She was quite a hard worker, and she was a great friend, a great wife, a great mother, and a great Grandmommy.
My favorite memory with Grandmommy was doing crafts at Cousins Camp. All of the kids would get together and make Christmas ornaments for the tree, have great snacks, and spend a lot of quality time together. I thought it was special that even though all of the grandchildren didn't see each other very often throughout the year, Grandmommy created a space for all of us to come together, and I appreciated how she had something for everyone so that we all felt welcomed and loved. One thing Grandmommy taught me was how to be a godly woman and a loving wife. She did this by leading through example. Watching her relationship with Granddaddy throughout the years was a really sweet representation of what it means to serve your husband and your family, and I will forever carry that lesson with me. I'm also really thankful for the son that she raised and my biggest role model, my dad, Jonathan. I forever appreciate the leader that she raised and the man that has become the leader of our family. I don't know where I would be without them, and I'm so thankful for our entire family and everything that they taught me.
There are a lot of great memories I have of Grandmommy. I was thankfully able to spend so many quality years going on trips and vacations, and then coming to Christmas and just birthdays and graduation. There's a lot to choose from. Some of my most fond memories of her are just some simple things. I remember quite a few times whenever we got together, she'd always just give me a big old hug, and she'd always kind of push me back and just kind of stare at me. And that was just so sweet and just very caring. She was a very loving person, and she let you know it. That was a very big thing for her. And just some other great memories is just her having a really good time. I remember we were at Christmas in 2017, and we were in her kitchen, and she likes to have these rice socks, and she puts them in the microwave and kind of puts them on her neck. And one night she had that around her neck, and she came into the kitchen, and Ashley and I were in there, and I think Autumn came in a little bit later, and just all the rice just poured out of the rice sock there, and it was just hilarious, and all the rice just spilled all over the kitchen floor, and she just couldn't help but laugh. You know, she wasn't mad at it. It was just, she was just laughing with us, and we cleaned it up, and it was just a really fun memory I have of her. There are a lot of lessons you can learn from Grandmommy. Like I mentioned earlier, just being a kind and caring person, and she made you know that, and that's a great gift from the Lord, is just letting people know that they're loved. And sometimes that works great as a pastor's wife, and just kind of coming alongside people that Greg or Granddaddy may have worked with, and just kind of being there for them, letting them know that someone is there, thinking of them and caring for them. And some of the other cousins have mentioned cards. She always loved to write people's cards. Sometimes they were half a card because she wanted to write a lot of cards. But it was just, she was very caring in that way. And that's just something I can take a note from her. Just to love everybody you come in contact with, whether they love you back or not. But just showing them Christ-like love. Grandmommy was very special to me, and I thank the Lord for the memories that I was able to have with her over the years. I'll never forget them.
One of the biggest things throughout the years that I've learned to respect about Grandmommy was that she was always hospitable. She loved hosting people and making sure everything was special for them, and she always thought of gifts that would be special to certain people. And one of my favorite memories with her was on one of the trips she and Granddaddy took down to Brazil. We were taking them back to the airport to go back home, and she decided that she wanted us to write funny little things on cards, and then we'd roll them up and then put them in a gift basket to be able to give to my mom. And we laughed and laughed and laughed for hours about all the funny things that we were writing on the cards, and that is such a good memory that I have. I'm so thankful to have learned so much from Grandmommy throughout the years, and her impact on my life will be lasting forever.
I always have great memories with Grandmommy. She was just a loving, caring lady, and she really made each grandchild feel special. I always remember her attending my graduation, going to Cracker Barrel together, going to QT to get ice cream, and she just really made me feel like the most special grandchild. One of my fondest memories is going to the dollar store and picking out a special prize, and just really made my day. And I will always cherish those memories with her, and I cannot take them for granted. One of the most valuable lessons she taught me is how you treat other people with love and respect. She was just a caring, kind lady who truly put others first and truly showed the love of Christ with her words and actions. And that's one thing I'll always take with me, and I will always be grateful for Grandmommy and the impact she made in my life. I love you, Grandmommy.
So I think my favorite memory of Grandmommy is when Michael was born. My mom had to rush to the hospital, and all of us kids were freaking out. My Grandmommy was home with us, and we were all just kind of like sitting there waiting. And my Grandmommy was like, okay, let's go upstairs. So we went upstairs, and we were just like kind of hanging out. And then she goes, okay, let's prank call people. And that's like totally out of the norm for Grandmommy. And so we were all just like, really, is she serious? But she was, and we picked up the phone in Brazil, and we just started prank calling people. And it was so fun, and I've never laughed so much with Grandmommy. And it was just such a fun time. And that's probably one of my favorite memories of Grandmommy. One big thing that my Grandmommy taught me was how to be a hard worker. I don't ever remember a time that my Grandmommy was just like lazy. She's always been a hard worker. She was always looking to do the next load of laundry. Even when we were about to watch a movie and we were like, Grandmommy, come sit down. She's like, I have to put the next load of laundry in. And we're all just like, the laundry can wait. She's like, no, I need to do the laundry. And we're like, okay, all right. But so many times she would come down to Brazil and she'd get there and we're all happy. And then that night, my mom's making food and she'd be like, okay, it would be great if I could have someone come set the table. And we'd all just be super quiet. And she'd say it again. And then she'd be like, okay, Audrey, come set the table. And I'm like, oh man. And it always annoyed me as a kid, but then growing up, I realized like how much she played into teaching me to be a hard worker, because she was always living it out. And she always wanted to help others. And so she was always finding little ways to help them through her work.
One favorite memory that I have of Grandmommy was that I remember once we were in a cabin, I'm pretty sure, and she was doing her makeup to go out because we were going out for dinner, and I asked her to put some blush on me, but then I came over and she was like, sit down. So I sat down and she like put a lot of makeup on me. Something Grandmommy taught me was something that was very fun for me to do. It was a kind of a craft. But I remember whenever we would meet or see each other, she would make these roses out of tissue paper, and we would like twist them up, and then we would grab a bobby pin and we would ask Granddaddy to come over and twist them for us so it would be the stem, and it was a really cool and fun project we did.
My favorite memories about Grandmommy is that one time I went downstairs with Grandmommy, and Grandmommy was down there, and almost every time I looked at something and said, oh, that looks cool, she was like, oh, do you want it? And I remember specifically one time we were in a room and she had a little fan. It was a teeny tiny red fan. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then she was like, do you want it? And I was like, sure. So I took it out to my room and I used it for a couple of days. And so that's one of my favorite memories about Grandmommy. One of my favorite things about Grandmommy is that she loves to do crafts. And I like to do crafts sometimes too. And so that's one of my favorite things about Grandmommy.
I had the privilege of being Grandmom's last grandchild, but not through birth, but marriage of her oldest granddaughter, Ashlyn Huffman. I didn't get to have a ton of memories with her, but one of my favorite ones was her and her husband gave me a monetary gift around Thanksgiving time of 2020. And then on Christmas Day in 2020, they gave me another one, which was a jar of coins of all the change that they had saved up over that year. And she asked, do you know what that's for? And I was like, I'll use it for whatever you want me to use it for. And she says, that's for a ring for my granddaughter. And that money did get to go towards a ring, and we got married in 2021, and I was thankful that Grandmom was able to be at the wedding. And so it's kind of a memory that I'll always be able to remember, and it's a fun one too. The greatest lesson I learned from her, nothing really too deep, but it was one that her and Ashlyn's granddad both kind of taught me, but it's opening the car door for your significant other. And I just think it was just a great way of showing an act of love, even in such a simple task. And no matter what I'm going through with my wife, opening the door for her is kind of a way of showing that I still love her, even if we have a disagreement. And it's really just a fun thing to do in public. And people enjoy seeing that. And so such a simple thing as opening a car door, but I'm thankful that they made sure that I knew the importance of that.